Hey everyone, hello, welcome to this video. What I'm going to show you here in the video is, let me just quickly explain what I'm going to show you here in the video. It basically works over 3 bets. You make 3 bets and you basically make the same amount on the 3 bets, and then you see where you are at the end of the 3 bets to see how you're going to progress from there. The basic idea is that you will progress 1 unit per triplet betting session, if you like. And then every time you make a progression, every time you get 1 unit, then you sort of progress from there, and your aim is to try and get 1 unit over a period of time, and I'll explain that to you in a minute. And a lot of people are kind of they understand what's known as the Martingale system. The Martingale system is a lot easier to calculate because basically you just double up if you lose. Now the problem with that is, by the time you get to 7, 8, 9, 10 bets, well, if you get to the 10th bet, you're betting 512. Now, if that's on a dollar or a pound or a shekel or whatever, a franc, whatever you're using, 512 on a single spin is a heck of a lot of money, right? Now, what this is kind of like the Martingale. It's an expanded Martingale. So basically what you do is you bet 3 bets of the same amount, and then you see where you are. And the way the system works, and the way I would recommend it, is A, you've got to have sufficient of bankroll to cover any expected losses depending on what you're playing. So you've got to have a system of betting as well, not just the staking, but a system of betting, right? So I've got a system here which I'm going to use to illustrate in this video, but you've got to have your own system, whatever works for you. I would recommend use a system that kind of works with 3 bets. Okay, if you do something really complicated, then you might get confused as to where you are. So anyway, let's stop waffling. Let's show you how it works. So what you do is basically, I'm going to use a little system here, and my system says from this point here, where we are right now, I need to bet on red. So we're going to play in pennies. The reason I'm going to play in pennies is because if it does go a little bit crazy, and you can't trust these software games, I don't want to run out of bankroll here. They're only giving you 1,000 to play with here, so I want to make sure I'm able to explain this to you before I run out of any bankroll, should this machine try to get clever with me. So I'm going to go with a penny, and that should be more than enough to explain the system. Right, so it's 1 unit. So I'm going to bet 1 unit on red. My playing system says I need to bet on red first, so I'm going to play 1 unit. Let's speed it up a little bit. Let's go quick play, and let's go. So the first bet I win. So because I've won, I stay with it. You know, I don't need to change anything. My system says I need to stay with red, so I'm going to stay with red. So I bet 1, and I'll explain as I go along. So here's the first losing bet. Now, when you lose the first bet with this system, that's when you go into the triplet betting. So I've lost the first bet here. Okay, so I now have to instigate the 3 bets. So this is the first of the 3 bets. So I've lost, so I'm -1, and my system says I need to stay or go to black now. So I'm going to go to black, and I win. Now, what's happened here is I lost the first bet, but I've won the second one. Okay. And what's happened there, the only thing you've got to remember there is, if you lose the first one and win on the second one, you're 0. You know, you haven't lost, you haven't won, you've zeroed out, right? But on the second bet, so it all depends on what happens on the third bet now, right? This is because once you've lost the first bet, you're into the triplets, and then you've got to monitor how you're doing as you go along. And as I said, in this case, I lost the first bet, I won the second bet. So that basically leaves me at 0. I haven't lost, I haven't won. So it all depends on what happens on the third bet here. My system says stay with black, so I'm going to bet black, and I won. So with that set of triplets, because I lost the first bet, I go straight into the triplets from that point onwards. So the first bet I lost, so I'm into the triplets now, so I'm -1. Then I won the second bet, I'm even money now. I haven't lost, I haven't won. But then all depends on what happens on the third one. On the third bet I won, so I'm +1 now. So as you can see, I've gone +1 because I did win some before. So I'm now on 2. Okay, so that's fine, I've won. So what I'll do is I'll carry on. I'll explain what I was going to explain earlier when we get to the next situation, when we get to that situation as we go. So what we're going to do now is, because I'm in a positive scenario here, my betting system says that I need to go to red, so I'm going to bet 1 on red, just 1. Okay, so I won on 1, so that's great. My betting system says I stay on red, so I'm going to bet on red again, and I won again, so I don't have to worry about triplets because I'm winning on the first bets. I'm going to go to black now, and I won on black. Excellent. So I carry on. So I'm going to stay with black. My system says stay with black. And okay, I've lost one now. I'm on -1. Now with the way I'm playing, 0 means nothing to me, so I'm going to do a blank bet. Ignore that. So I'm on 8. So I was on -1 before the 0. So I'm now going to bet on red. Okay, so at 0 I was -1. I bet on 8. I've won. So I was -1 on 0, 1 on this one. So I'm now zeroed out. Okay, I haven't made money, I haven't lost money, so it all depends on what happened on the next one. So this is the third bet of the triplet, so I'm now going to bet on that one, and I win. So I'm +1 now, so I've won now. I'm on 6, so because I've won on 6, I'm going to carry on. My next aim is to make 7, so I bet 1 and I make 7. Great, so I carry on with 1. My system says I should have gone to black there, but not to worry, it worked out for me. So again, I won again, so I'm making progress. So I'm going to stay. My system says go to black, so I'm going to go to black, and I win on black. Excellent. So I won again, so I stay with that. I'm not losing, so I'm on a winning streak here. My system says go to red, so I'm going to go to red. Okay, so I've lost now, so I'm into the triplet betting system because I've just lost the first bet. So I've lost 1, so I'm -1. I'm going to go to black. I go to black. And I win. So I lost the first, won the second, I'm zeroed out. All depends on what happens on the third one. Okay, so my system says stay with black, so I'm betting 1 on black, and I lost. So now because I won, because I lost on the first, I won on the second, I zeroed out, I bet on the third, and I lost. So because I've been betting ones, like I said, I lost on the first, I won on the second, and then I lost on the third. That makes it -1. Okay, so because, like I said before, if you win on the first and if you lose on the first and win on the second, so if you lose on the first and win on the second, that's a 0.